Tanaya, if Tuesday, you got a check for being a descendant of American slave, but you got it because of ADOS, would you cash it?
You said if I knew I got it because of ADOS?
No, ADOS lobbied for your check. And as a descendant of American slave, by default, you got a check. Are you cashing it?
Yeah, a check is a check.
So what are we talking about? So now I feel like you fucking with me.
And you
I'm
never
not.
answered.
We're talking about inclusion.
You never answered.
You are included. You got a check, Tanaya. You got a check, Tanaya.
Lydia, can I ask?
So Ronald was here first. So okay. Go ahead, Ronald.
Go ahead, Ronald.
So my question is, and it always comes up when queer or members of the LGBT community come, and frankly, fuck it, I'm a member of that community. But my thing is, I'm black first, right? And I've never understood. This is just me. Why it has to be a question of centering LGBTQ or anything else. Like, if we're talking about reparations or justice for black people, I believe that trumps gender, sexuality, anything else. And why does it have to be a discussion of, or why does it have to be a question of whether people are, being inclusive if the definition, this is all I'm saying, and I'm in a car, getting ready to go under the Lincoln Tunnel, so I might get cut off. But if the definition of ADOS is American descendants of slavery, regardless of who you love, what you have, who you have kids with, what your gender is, we all have that lineage. Why does it have to be a question? And
I think it has to be a question.
Maybe have to be a question of inclusiveness. If the definition is all of us, why does it have to be an extra step of saying inclusive? Why do you have to?
Because I don't think we should be getting equal funds.
Cam, did he say he was done?
No, but I wanted to clarify that. I don't think.
But I just want to say. Let me just say, when people, this is all I'm saying. When people say Igbo or if I ask a friend of mine if this is for Nigerians, they don't say, well, yeah, they say it's for Nigerians. They don't say, well, is the LGBTQ Nigerians included? No, or the LGBTQ Igbo or whoever is included? No, they recognize who they are by just being who they are, bro. And that's just been my problem. Clubhouse. I had a problem with the shit before I joined Clubhouse. I thought it was homophobic. But when I listened and it was like, no, this is based on our lineage, I'm like, well, shit, that shit come before, like, I was black in my mama's womb. Before I was anything else. And I just don't understand why it has to be a question of anything else besides that. And I'm done now. I'm sorry.
Does the LGBT community have something for cis heterosexual people?
What do you mean? What are you saying? What does that question have to do with my question? I'm saying, does the like
you
the LGBT like
us bringing that up, correct?
The psychological warfare. That's the answer. That's why it happens. It happens all the time. There's too many examples of people supporting multiple organizations at the same time. But for whatever reason, this continues to happen amongst black people. It doesn't happen everywhere, but it does happen amongst black people.
Because that's a little naive to say that.
We have a very unique experience on this planet, and it's our walks of life and our identity are very complex, and that's why.
No, but
I didn't say it doesn't happen anywhere. I said it doesn't happen.
At the end of the day, we black.
Exactly, that's my point, though. Things get more complex because when you add blackness to any walk of life, it's just a little bit more harsh.
As a queer person, can I say something?
Okay. Matt, Tina was actually next, but if Tina want to yield the floor to you to let you.
Go ahead, Tina.
No, Matt, you go ahead.
I just want to say something. I'm queer. I'm non-binary, and I'm just going to say what it is. This is my opinion. I agree with Ronald, but I also understand the nuance from Tanaya. I was in the other room and I was listening. I think that the language around the healthcare sector needs to be reworded a little bit, but I think that in general, this movement was not about any of our subgroups. This is literally just about us being all American descendants of slaves, right? So I don't really feel like any one quote unquote version of our experience or identity needs to be put ahead of the larger, literally in the fucking titled definition on why this movement even exists. use your check for what you want to use your check for. I do agree, though, that the language from the healthcare side needs to be reworded to be a little more accurate towards the trans experience. But that's basically it for me as a queer person who's read the website and did all the research. And same with Ronald, I thought this was a homophobic ass movement from Twitter. Then when I got on Clubhouse, I was in these rooms and I was very much educated about what this movement is about. And I'm like, exactly, this is just about us being American descendants of slaves. And from my father's side, I am. My mother's side, they're immigrants, and I still am, by way of being a child of my father, definitely a member of ADOS. So my opinion is that I feel as a queer person, I don't know who else is queer on the stage, but I don't feel like that my queerness needs to come ahead of my blackness. My blackness, my descendant, my lineage is the point of the movement, not anything about being a woman, being a person who has a mental health issue, being a person who's hard of hearing, being a person who has whatever else is going on with other people's and who are also part of this lineage. It's just about your lineage. Get your check, shut the fuck up, do what you want to do with your check, and then talk about how we got this check. And finally, how we got some sort of justice in our community, and move the fuck on with your life, and then go support the movements that you want, that will get you what you want for your other specific subdivision of this community. Put that money towards that, right? Do something to lobby towards what makes sense. Or like I forgot who said, for phase 2, we can focus on those other subgroups, but let's get this check first.
Drop the mic.
I just want to make a
Tina,
quick
you want
response,
to
but
wait? No, Tina, you want to go ahead and go? You've not spoken.
I do, but I don't want to change the direction of the conversation. I came in a little bit late. I saw why isn't ADOS centering Black children? They're vulnerable, but when I got
I was being an asshole.
okay, when
Totally.
I came in,
Yeah, let me
y'all were
reset
talking.
the room for the people that's come in. I am totally being an asshole. This is
Okay.
me up past my bedtime. I've been up a whole lot of hours doing a whole lot of shit, and I was in that last room, literally about to pull these fresh knotless braids out of my head because I was so angry. I was so angry. Like my boobs are sweating. I'm pissed that they're having a conversation about the most marginalized and being the most marginalized, whilst I have a whole ass autistic child and understand the statistic that happen to children with disabilities who are by far the most vulnerable in our community. And ADOS isn't centering them. ADOS ain't said shit about my autistic daughter, but they did say she was Black. And she is a descendant of American slaves. And seeing as though there isn't any reconstructive surgery any trans person can have, I assure you, they ain't got shit on Alyssa's medical bills. They ain't got shit on the pharmaceutical drugs that we spend
Why
money
are we
on
comparing it to?
every. Oh no, because you said that trans women are the most vulnerable. And when we
Yes, but
talking
I'm not
about
here. I
healthcare,
wasn't trying to
no,
compare
Cam, be
nobody's personal
quiet.
experiences, though. It's not.
When we talk about healthcare,
At
there
the end of
isn't
the
a
day,
person.
people's
Man, I ain't gonna
experiences
keep
need
telling
to
you
be
to stop cutting her
at
off,
the
man.
no, but I
Chill
need
out,
I
bro.
need that point to be made though.
Now you
At
don't
the
need
end of
to
the day,
do shit, but
all we have is
relax.
our experiences, and we
Cam wants to talk about healthcare, but nobody talks about how much coin a month we go through on these pharmaceutical drugs. They don't talk about how many MRIs my child has had to have because we don't understand why the fuck she keeps having seizures. So when we talk about healthcare, did ADOS frame that in the conversation? No, they didn't. But guess what could help my child? Having a better economic infrastructure that goes to the lineage of her ancestors building this motherfucking economy. That's what we could be talking about. So while y'all are all around want to talk about your subgroups and woe the fuck is me, understand that there are actual vulnerable children that don't have a voice. Okay? And when you're talking about not supporting a movement that could quite literally transform generations of our children, that's offensive to me. I take it personal.
I agree with you. Most
Yeah.
definitely.
And I think we really need to draw out the issue of a subgroup calling itself an ally to the larger group. If you, at any time, if you ever do that, you have to subtract, I guess, whatever qualifier allows you into the group, or you're placing your subcategory above the main group, and the absurdity of that is just unbelievable. And
that's like
anybody who could address that or help me understand how that's
Yeah, they say they're not gonna support the group because it doesn't center them. So fuck me and my kids and your future kids and those future kids and so forth and so forth. Just because you're not being named. That's, you know how narcissistic that is?
Because you're not
You know how
named, you're mentioned on the
egotistical
website.
that is? That's offensive, y'all.
And I wonder, does the
It sounds like white
LGBT
supremacy.
community have like a carve out for cis heterosexual people in their movement?
Okay, I'm not gonna go
No.
there, and I don't think we should go there because that's not relevant, and that's
No,
not
it is
what
Well,
this
relevant.
well,
movement is
Matt,
about. That's all I'm gonna say as a person
You
Matt,
who
haven't been in here.
Matt, you don't think anything? I mean, I don't know if you're talking to Andre, you're talking about me, but
No,
um
not you. I'm talking about
oh,
Andre.
okay.
Whoever just
But
said the
Matt,
mess
but
about
can you can you relate, can you explain to me how
Mhm.
there's a group of people talking about that we're not going to get reparations if y'all don't have our support, as if they the only fucking people in the computer that matter.
It's just I. So
That's
for me,
ridiculous.
I like I said, like I went on Twitter before I got on Clubhouse ever, and was hearing about ADOS this, ADOS that, and I was like, oh, everyone was specifically using the word homophobic, and I'm just saying this is how quick shit can go when you don't read into it. Then I get on Clubhouse and I get in these conversations and I start just listening. No, we just literally talk about American descendants of slaves and how we are owed a fucking debt. And it ain't about nothing else about you except the fact that you're just an American descendant. It has nothing to do with other parts of your identity. And the only thing that I will say that I will nod to them is that the language in the healthcare sector about what this is needs to be a little bit changed a little because it does classify, it would classify transness as a mental illness versus it being just an identity. So that's something I will, in my opinion, that does need to be worked out. And that's why I do believe everybody needs to be at this table talking, but not to say I want my issues covered, but specifically just to be there to say I support, so then we can have the outreach we need so that the whole community can get behind this single mission. And then after we can talk about other shit we want to put in phase two for all of our subject groups. But let's get this money first. Let's get this motherfucking money.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate you. I'm gonna go, and I don't want to botch your name, so I'm not even gonna say it. But you're right after Matt and in front of Nigel.
Hi, thank you for allowing me on stage. My name is Ahaji, by the way. Honestly, I feel like Matt and everybody else hit the nail on the head. I was just very confused about why they're trying to separate being ADOS and trans. Is like, if you're ADOS and you're trans, like, you're going to be included in the movement. I just didn't understand why they didn't feel like they were included in the movement. That really was my only question. But honestly, I guess that's been answered, or it hasn't been answered. But everybody has said everything that I've been thinking. So I'm just here for the rest of the conversation.
It's the language for the healthcare partially. That's all I'll say.
What is the language
Okay.
in the healthcare that's problematic? I just really want to know because I'm not.
It
I don't know.
So it doesn't classify transness, or it would basically make trans people have to classify what their identity as a mental illness versus it just being an identity, but for them to get basically all of the medication that they need, the hormones, etc. So if that's changed, it would make some people more comfortable who are trans, and I respect that because I'm non-binary. So for me, I agree that should be changed. But apart from that, I don't see any other issue, and I didn't hear any other conversation in that room that gave me an understanding as to what other issues there are. But I
So
do
you're
think
saying there's a
that
healthcare aspect. So you're saying there's a healthcare aspect of the argument for reparations?
nah. I'm saying under the sector that it says we all have free healthcare, and as it breaks down what that is, they just ask for basically a line to differentiate something. But and that's really nothing on any person in this room to really stress about because it doesn't concern you. It's just something that I think that with Yvette being a member of our community, I don't think she'll have a problem adding that in. I think that. I agree with everyone needs to have a seat at the table, but I think that right now the focus for phase one should be what we all know the focus is. And I agree with, I forget who said it, phase two can be where we talk about other things that we want to lobby for under this specific movement. But the
Connie is a
first
part of the
thing needs to
movement,
be
Matt.
this.
So I'm sure Connie can speak to that.
Connie, sorry about that. I didn't mean to mess your name up.
Uh-huh. Can I do something and read that little blurb about healthcare?
Please, Connie.
Okay, here we go.
Please, because I need to hear it. I'm sorry.
Here, you guys ready? Okay, a healthcare. So one of the asks, there's pure cash reparations. This is on ADOS101.com on the Black Agenda tab. So these are the tangibles we're asking for based on debts that are owed to us because in this instance we were denied health care and horrifically medically experimented upon. So our ask as part of our reparations tangibles is a healthcare credit to pay for medical coverage for all ADOS. This would cover surgery, pharmaceutical, and counseling needs. As an example, we would like to see a lineage therapy whereby ADOS leadership, in cooperation with licensed therapists and psychiatrists, develop a therapy curriculum to help members of the ADOS understand and manage their ancestral traumas. This therapy should come at no cost to the ADOS community. So I still am not, I would like Matt to respond and explain
Oh, I
why
got you.
there,
Yeah, I got
why,
you. So
no, let me finish. After I finish, I just need to understand why there needs to be this specific language. And in the other room, I explained we're only at the beginning of the process. We have a bill before Congress. Right now, we're trying to get the bill amended. We're
mhm.
trying to get the bill passed. There's a whole process. This has been done for many groups before. Then we get into the negotiation phase. But what is so problematic about that?
I don't find it personally to be problematic. I just know that they wanted a line in there to specify what their identities are as it pertains to transness. So I'm
Hey.
not
But
someone who can
why?
speak for that community. Well, I'm not
Hi,
trans,
I
so
can
I
explain
can't.
why.
Oh, go ahead, Daniel.
I
Uh,
yes, I can explain why. Hello, I've been listening for a few minutes, and Matt, I completely agree with you. And Lydia, I don't know. Yes, Lydia. Hi. I definitely agree with a lot of the
Hi.
points. I definitely agree with a lot of the points that you made as well. I am a Black queer woman, and I definitely agree that within the ADOS community, my Blackness is first because that's what I'm here for. Like, hello, I'm here to get this bread from to fucking, help out my ancestors also, and for all the other stupid shit, whatever. But in terms of trans people and in terms of the medical clause that was just read by Connie, the issue is that being trans and medical um like medical conditions and things like that. So being trans is still not specifically specified as not being a mental illness, and is not um, completely covered throughout medical insurance. So therefore, if they have different needs that they need met, depending on the presidency or whoever is in office or whatever the case is. So for instance, like with Trump, he didn't want to cover different medical procedures that trans people needed, or trans people really felt like they really, really need it. You know what I mean? So if you don't put that clause, right, or if you don't specify that, all right, this goes for trans people, this goes for non-binary people, this goes for disabled Black people, this goes for all these different types of people, because the way that the government works is that they're able to just say like, all right, no, we don't want to, like pay for this. We don't want to pay for this. We don't want to pay for this. So if you're saying that it's just like medical expenses, or if you're saying that it's therapy, then that doesn't necessarily mean that within the changes in the law or within the changes of different things that trans people will be able to continue to get their same medical services that they need, because it's still a group of people that are marginalized, just as you have said, Lydia. Disabled people are marginalized all the time, so people get cut off from benefits just the same way as trans people do. So they just want to make sure that, like, okay, even if you're saying healthcare, if you're saying therapy, it no matter how the government rolls out, are we still going to be protected? And I think that's the only thing. Like, that's why
So
it's like,
can I ask
okay,
a question as a
Exactly.
lawyer? I'm just asking a question because I'm thinking about, I don't practice, but what I'm hearing, because I heard the language. I just got off a cab. I'm sorry. I heard the language of the policy suggestion, right? And I'm listening to the issue, and it sounds like that the trans community feels that the language of trauma and everything else and everything else that's been said is not specifically saying like I so
no, I don't want
like
to say that it's
and
like
here's my
specific,
problem, right?
because
Here's my
it can,
problem. Here's my problem.
but
I'm
that's why
thinking
I
it's
also
not
brought up the disabled community, because it's the same, because it can be translated to them as well, because there are a lot of different subgroups of
but
people that are within
here's how we so here's
that
how
are
we
within the disabled community that lose benefits based off of policies in
I
government.
understand
So
what you're
trans
saying, but
people
when
deal
we
with that
interpret,
same exact thing. So I'm
but
just
when we
saying that like
but we
everybody needs
interpret
to be,
policy. When we interpret policy, we generally look at like the first level is like, what does the law say? Like, it's like do a facial interpretation. Like, what is the letter of the law? And like it doesn't like like it's inclusive. It's all encompassing,
It
and
isn't by the language. It just
no,
added in. It
but
don't fucking
but
hurt
if
it
nobody.
does
there
not
are a group of
sound. It
people,
does
if
not
there
sound. It
are a group
sounds
of
like
people that are telling you, look, all right,
Lydia, can
all I'm gonna say is that if there are a group of people, right, that are telling you, hey,
I hear you.
I'm
I
noticing
hear it,
within
and
this
it's
language,
valid.
right, that you're
That's why I'm
leaving
giving
out
you
a
the
group of
energy
people,
because
then
I
I don't
understand
think
it's
that it's
valid.
within your right to argue against it. I think that you should just say,
Lit
oh,
Dio.
okay, you know what, you're right, because
I'm
yes,
not
we are
arguing
leaving out
against it.
just
I'm
like
not arguing
Dio.
specific
against it. I'm
clauses,
saying,
Lydia,
that's all.
may
I'm
That's
I
all I'm
saying,
saying.
clarify
Wait,
something?
so we're gonna
Lydia,
let somebody that's actually ADOS that's a part of the movement speak, either Connie or Tony.
let me just jump in real quick. The first thing about this is you keep acknowledging that there's subgroups. So please, so what are we going to do? List the thousands of people with different respiratory problems, people with disabilities, autism, whatever. This isn't even the final language. This is our proposal. At the
Well, yeah,
end
so if
state,
it's a
let me finish. Let
proposal,
me finish. So once it's passed, you have a commission. Just like the Native Americans got their land, they got scholarships, they got all this stuff. That's a carve out, and you advocate for that. So if you're a part of this movement, instead of pushing back on us now, this is what we're asking for up front. It is a blanket thing. There is no reason to list 1,000 subgroups. Get involved so that when we are sitting at the table with the United States, then we can carve out whatever it is. But this discourse is counterproductive. We could be having a
I
conversation
do
right
not think
now.
so. I think
We
that
could
that is
be
very
having a
inappropriate for you to
conversation
say that
right
this
now
is.
about how we
We
hey,
need
can let
to
stop
Connie
cutting
to,
her
talk. We
to
off.
can
get
let Connie
reparations
talk.
for our
Thank you.
people.
Yeah,
Connie, can I
can
say
I
something?
say one
Wait,
thing real quick?
Go
wait.
ahead.
No. Tony's next. Tony's next. Let me say this. First of all, thank you, Lydia, for hosting this room. I was in the other room and somebody said something in the queer transgender room that everybody operates with privilege. They just don't want to admit it. And in this case, it seems like the people in the LGBTQ plus IA, however it's arranged, are operating with some sort of privilege where you think that your needs need to be outlined on the agenda website. Well, I'm a woman. It don't say nothing about me getting a free pap smears or free
Nothing.
mammograms. It don't say nothing about black men getting free prostate exams. My mama need new knees. It don't say nothing about that. You guys are coming in here, and I don't mean to say you guys to other you. I'm saying that this community is coming in here trying to tell us how we're going to advocate for something that's economic. This is not a social justice issue primarily. We are fighting for reparations, which is an economic issue. Stop coming in here wanting us to highlight and outline and center you in the middle of an economic discussion. We all have needs. We are all part of different subgroups. What type of privilege do you guys think you have to tell us how we should, or to tell Tone and Yvette how they should write you guys into it at this phase? Our second, third, and fourth, everything that Connie is saying, we are just trying to get our foot in the door with this reparations thing. And you guys are coming in here trying to faction us and fraction us into pieces. Stop
Hey,
it.
Tony, can I respond to you?
Who? Yes,
Matt,
go
Me,
ahead.
Matt. Yeah,
go
Matt.
ahead,
Yo,
Matt.
I'm queer, so I'm not gonna respond with all that because I already agreed with everything else. I'm just gonna say that I agree that there needs to be a slight language change. It doesn't make it quote more anything towards any
Well,
group. It
put
just
my
make.
mama's
Don't
knees
Oh
in
cut me
there. My
off when
mama
God.
I'm
needs new
talking, please.
knees. Put her
Let me
knees in
finish.
there
I'll
too
let you talk, so
then.
let me respond.
Yeah,
Thank
Tony,
you.
let him speak.
So basically, all I'm saying is when it comes to the language, I'm just saying it would immediately just get you the support because it would make it more. It would also make the individuals who are reading this understand that they're not going to have their benefits cut off. That's all it
It's
is. It ain't
intellectually
nothing. It
dishonest
ain't.
to say that because they
And
have.
Don't cut me off.
and
I'm not done talking.
You're not asking
So
for benefits to be cut off. We're adding benefits.
thank
So if
you.
we're
I'm not
Let
done
me
adding,
let me
talking.
it's
just go ahead. Let me just
Hey
rebuttal
yo,
to
no,
you,
I'm not done
Matt.
talking. I
Wait,
was in the
let
middle of
let
talking.
Matt
I didn't
finish.
interrupt.
Let Matt. Hey, y'all,
Yeah, I
let
didn't
Matt
interrupt
finish.
either of you. I didn't interrupt either of you. I listened to what you had to say. So I'm just saying it doesn't even harm anyone to mention something that makes a person who reads this as trans understand, oh, my shit ain't gonna get cut off because of the government and how they've already always cut me off. It doesn't center anybody. It just makes them understand, oh, I know I'm gonna be good because the mission is always is literally just what I already have talked about. And I don't know if you heard when I was speaking before, but I was saying very adamantly everything you just spewed at me. specifically addressing me by saying them and all that other bullshit. So I'm gonna just keep it G and say
First
straight
of
up,
all, what I say
all
is
it
not
does
bullshit.
is allow
What I
someone
say is
to
not bullshit. No,
understand
you're not
that
gonna
they're
come.
gonna be good. So don't come at me with any fucking heat because I ain't coming at you with
Hey,
heat.
hey,
Kick
hey,
him
hey,
out
hey,
the
hey,
room.
hey, hey,
Kick him out
relax,
the room.
man.
We
Yeah,
hear
you
you
Relax,
can.
got a
relax.
lot to
Watch
Relax.
your
say.
language.
Kick
Watch
him
your
out.
language.
I
No,
was
I'm
the
not.
person that
Relax.
she
Because you're
came
not
towards.
gonna
No,
Out.
I'm gonna
come in
say
here
what
and
I'm
She
talk
gonna
to
say.
wasn't
me
We
cussing
crazy
at
like
you,
that.
respectful
Faith.
in your
She
room.
wasn't disrespectful to you. You may have
Thank
not liked
you.
what she said,
She
but she was
was.
not
Thank you.
disrespectful.
Thank
So
Kick
you.
you
him
will not cuss
out.
at nobody on my wife's page, young man. You can make it.
You
You
ain't
can
gonna
move
come at
around.
some
You hear
queer
me?
people and
Kick him
say
Okay,
some
out,
calm
crazy
Lydia.
down,
shit to
then,
me.
bro.
I'm like,
Calm down.
I
Calm
But
down.
she's
already
not
agree with
coming
you.
at queer people in general. The issue is
Yeah,
not
no, I
whether she.
think it was a conversation from the last room, right? So
Yeah,
I'm
but
not,
don't
I
be
wasn't
yeah,
part of that.
disrespectful in here,
yeah,
man.
like yeah, look, all
Ain't
right. If it's
nobody
on the
cussed at
fly,
you.
let it
Ain't nobody
fly,
said
right?
nothing
Like
like
I
that
didn't
to you.
feel no
Chill
type
out.
of way. No,
This is
yeah,
so
You
Can I
like I
say
didn't
something
feel no
you
really
type of
really
way
quick?
should
about that.
apologize.
Can I say
yeah,
something
you
really
should
quick?
Okay,
apologize.
One
wait,
thing.
guys. So wait. So let's be clear. Connie wasn't done talking. Okay. Um, and if Connie wants to add on to what Tony was saying, go right ahead, Connie.
Which one is Tony?
Tony's at the bottom.
Bottom, so I can see who.
Tony Pierce. You see her? She's at the bottom. Last row.
No, but this is all I'm going to wrap up with. Again, I think you guys are being willfully obtuse. How many times do we have to explain what makes you so special that you're the only subgroup that has to be centered, that has to have a line item, that has to be specifically addressed? Then the second thing is this isn't a bill, it's not a law, it's not anything. I'm speaking plain English. That phase is not here yet. And then to keep pivoting, now you're saying, oh, but how do we know our insurance isn't going to be canceled? We're giving all ADOS insurance. If you study anything about reparations, once it's locked in, it has to be honored. The Native Americans got everything they were supposed to get. Then I think they reneged on the land. They just got all that land back from Oklahoma. So to be a part of this process and to have your voice respected, respect the process, respect the people that have been at this work, acknowledge that this movement is full of tons of LGBTQ. Please stop threatening us because we're not scared. Oh, if you don't have us, it's not going to pass. It is going to pass. And we don't need any defeatists. If you don't want the check, please send something to headquarters saying you opt out. Get with the movement, be unified. If you want to start drafting language about how you think the healthcare piece should be written, you should take that upon yourself instead of beefing with
Right.
us and submit it. Be a part of something positive. Love your people. Stop being selfish and self-centered and grifting.
Well said, Connie.
I
Thank you.
absolutely agree. Y'all, we gotta talk about this asinine level of narcissism. It's asinine. Like seriously. It's inflammatory, it's offensive, it's disrespectful to the ancestor. You do realize that y'all having a conversation about possibly getting some shit that has been denied to your mama, your grandmama, your great grandmama, your great like think about how disgusted they would be at the conversations that we having. The
My
shit,
ancestors would not
wait,
be disgusted. I'm leaving.
the shit that we buy,
Mine would.
Bye.
Bye, nigga.
Toodles.
Bye.
Bye.
My
the
parents from
shit that
So
Alabama.
they
long.
had to
Bye.
endure, right,
Bye.
to get us to this space. And we talking about language, line items. Ain't nobody said nothing about my goddamn womb in that healthcare bill. They ain't said nothing about pap smears. They ain't said nothing about these boobs that I done breastfed babies with that I would love to feel good about and get reconstructive surgery. They ain't said nothing about Tony Mama's knees.
But you don't see an issue with that?
Hell
No.
no,
What is
because my
wrong? Oh
ancestors
my freaking
deserved a
God.
debt.
Because it's not about me.
Because it's not about me. I'm
Lydia.
not concerned about just Lydia and her saggy boobs.
Lydia, can I
I'm
say something?
concerned about, no, I am concerned about my children's children. Whilst they're going to school with white and Hispanic and all these other different kids that got generations of wealth that was built off of my ancestors. That's my concern. How dare I? I didn't even go through integration. My mama did. First day of school in elementary school was sold on a stage in the cafeteria for a slave for a day. Her brother found out about it, came to the school, beat the little white kid up, and fled Houston. We having real conversations about real shit. And y'all talking about if you got the check tomorrow, your ass gonna cash it. So what are we talking about? Nothing. You gaslighting. Had you to stood 10 toes down and said, "No, Lydia, I ain't cashing that check out principle," I might have felt you. But in that moment, I knew you was fucking with me. At 11:20 at night, I am tired. I am disgusted. And in this moment, I am really questioning, what are we fighting for? If you don't care about your economic infrastructure and the lack of having one, what are we talking about? You in political science school trying to get a degree. These motherfuckers should have got that degree for free. You should be paying taxes. These are all the conversations that we should be having. But no, you want to sit around and talk about how you're not going to support something because you don't like the language. But you're going to cash that check come Tuesday if you got it. I'm closing this room.
No. Just to be clear, I never said that. I made a
critique. No, you did. You said
I made a critique, but I never said that. There's difference
you never said what?
Somebody else said it though.
Hey,
Somebody
Lydia.
else said they were
Lydia, pop
hey, Lydia. Before you close
room.
the room, can I say one thing?
Well, right.
Hey,
real quick.
Hey, girl. I just wanted to give Darius his flowers because he cleared that room out yesterday.
I heard he got real street nigga Flint. He
did, and I was so proud. I was like, thank you. I'm glad we have some strong black men in defense of us.
Hey, Lydia, there's another room about the same topic, led by a very wealthy gay man.
Oh, I saw it. He said y'all white supremacists.
Huh?
Oh, no.
Not us. He said homosexuals, y'all being, very white supremacists. We are poor.
Yeah, he was talking about identity.
Yeah, but go in
politics.
there because he is preaching the truth, and the vibe of the room is good.
And Lydia, I was trying to get you to come over so he can call you up as well.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go run over there just for a few minutes, guys. But I'm gonna close this room just because if I left it open, people would think that I was serious about this title, and I was really just being an asshole. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this room, you guys.
The other room is y'all tour. Stop attacking.
Thank you, Lydia.
Thank you, guys. See you in the hallway. Love you. I love you, even though you don't love me. Some of you. That's fine.